Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Mobile Blast Podcast, Episode 7. And I'm Adam with the Android Anthem, and tonight I got a new guy with me, Stephen Martis. What's up, Stephen?
Hey guys.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
Yeah, so just another Android enthusiast just like you guys and been on and off every single Android phone device that pretty much comes out for the past 5 years or so. So just excited to be here and ready to go from there.
So you're going to join us here at the Android Anthem and do some write-ups and reviews and some video, which I think you said videos your core hobby, right?
It's just a little hobby I dab into, creating short films here and there. Created a few here in Columbus. So yeah, you can say it's just a small hobby of mine.
So we're going to use that to huge production here on the Android Anthem. And I appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, no problem.
But the reason why we are here tonight is because of these things right here. Don't you have one of these?
Yes, sir, right here.
Look at that. I got the S9 Plus. I got it from my friends over at Verizon, and I've had it for about a week and a half now. And did some initial unboxing thoughts. But how long have you had yours?
Just a few days. Not as long as yours, not as long as you've had it, but yeah, I've had a couple days to play with it, and so far, really enjoying this thing.
You got the S9, right?
Yes, this is just the regular S9 without the dual camera on the back like the S9 Plus, but still very good camera experience.
Well, let's real quick for our listeners, let me just run down the spec list for both of them, the S9 and the S9 Plus. And that way they know the differences between the two phones that we're talking about. So everything is pretty much the same, right? Except for the screen size and the battery. And so I'll go over those last. But they are both IP68, which means they're waterproof. And they got the Snapdragon 845 octa-core processor, 64 gigabytes of memory, 4 gigabytes of RAM. And this was neat. 400. It supports up to 400 gigabytes of an SD card. 400.
That is insane.
That's insane, dude. Comes Android 8.0 Oreo out of the box, which I think was the first Samsung phone with Android Oreo.
Correct.
And kept the headphone jack. Thank you very much. Stereo speakers this year. I like that. 3 colors: lilac purple, coral blue, midnight black. And so that's what both phones have in common. The S9 that you have is a 5.8-inch screen. It's Quad HD, 18.5 by 9 aspect ratio with a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. And the S9 Plus is 6.2-inch Quad HD screen, 18.5 by 9 aspect ratio, and a 3,500 milliamp hour battery. I've got to say, though, that is the one thing I thought was going to just blow me away was the battery life. But I'm not disappointed, but I gotta say, I barely made it through the day. What's yours been like?
Because you're such a heavy user, I haven't noticed as much as of it being an issue like you have. But there again, I've always got my chargers next to me. I got the fast charger at my desk at work, got the fast charger here at home, got the wireless pad also on my desk. So I did try it yesterday, a full day without it, and I did notice, some of the things that you did as well. A full day, watching videos in the morning, playing a few games here and there, catching up on social media. I did notice that I got down to when I got home around 5:30 in the afternoon. It was right around the 55% mark. So that right there, I could see how it could be a concern. But if you're a user, what I would say is how they are today, where you're constantly you have access to power. I don't think that would bug me as much as it would some people.
If you got access to power, yeah. But these things are supposed to have some great battery life. Let me just show you some of the things I've been experiencing. So today, after 4.5 hours of screen on time, by 7:40, I was down to 15%. And then yesterday, 5 hours of screen on time, but I made it all the way to 11:15. Going through, I've got all these battery stats per day. 6 o'clock p.m., 4.5 hours of screen on time. I made it. It got at 20% at 6 o'clock. And I'm not plugging this in at all during the day because I'm pushing this battery, not like overly using it as I would.
Right.
I'm using it as I normally would, but I'm
Right,
not
as you
plugging it
should.
in to see how far it will go. But I'm 11 p.m. one night after 5 hours, 5.5 hours of screen on time. So it's wavering so much. I can't tell what is. I think it may be video
And
that's
could be.
causing it to not make it on certain days.
Well, you got to think these things, as far as screen quality wise, it's pushing out so much. It's definitely if you're a big video, you know, watcher, I guess you could say, then definitely it would drain your battery a little bit more. But if you're just an average everyday user, let's just say, you know, checking your email, social media every now and then, I don't think that it would be as big as an issue. But definitely, if you're a big, a power user, as I would say, where you're constantly watching videos, you're constantly on there playing games and things like that, and yeah, that could be an issue.
So I just think that it's going to be average battery life. It should make it through the day, but you're definitely going. I'm going to say it's definitely going to need to be on the charger as you sleep at night to make it into the next day.
Yes. And then you also got to take into account if you have other devices connected to this, whether it be wireless headphones or your watches or whatever, you're definitely going to be using a lot more than you should. But like I said, overall, though, if you're like me and you constantly have a charger, but there again, no phone would be an issue when it comes to battery if you're like that. But
yeah. So for comparison's sake, my personal phone is a Pixel 2, and I've used it. When I tested it, I used it the same way I'm using this one now. And I would make it all the time to the end of the day before I would hit 20% every time. And it has I think it's 2,750 or 2,800
right
battery. That's almost 700 milliamps difference. But I would get the same type of battery life. So I'm almost thinking, what has Samsung got running on this thing that's hurting the background and hurting the battery life? But
right.
What about the other parts of the phone? Have you had any good usage with the camera yet?
Yeah, so I've got to play around with the camera a little bit. I could say I've enjoyed the experience with the camera. The one thing I do like, and this is just me, I'm a big emoji guy, so messing with the new AR emoji so that are on here, which is kind of cool. Where it automatically, you take a selfie of yourself and it creates a virtual emoji of yourself. And it does facial features and whatnot, kind of like what we saw with the iPhone 10. So that's one thing I've been playing around a lot with. And then also just outside shots, low light camera shots that you're doing, those turn out real well. Probably the best I've seen on any phone. So yeah, just dabbing around a little bit like that. Like I said, I've been thoroughly impressed with it.
All right, so you got to show off your emoji.
On this, let's do this.
Go ahead. You got to talk while you do it so that the camera stays on you.
No, I don't know about all that. Let's see. You getting that?
We got it.
Okay.
All right. So that actually looks half decent.
Yeah, not bad.
So mine is sorely disappointing.
No.
Right. Check that one out.
Hey, Baldy Pal. There he is.
Baldy Pal, man. And then my wife did it, and it didn't look like her. And then my son did it, and it actually really looked like him.
Really?
So now here's the weird thing. I set it up. I tried it like 4 different ways, with a hat, without a hat, and different lighting, good lighting, no lighting, and it came out the exact same every time.
Yep, I've noticed that too. I did do my hair a little bit different this morning, so I took another one. It did change my hairstyle a little bit, but the facial features and everything else that comes with it, all that was the same.
I almost wonder if it's got just a few that they made to choose from, and it picks the closest one that it sees of you.
Yeah, very well. I think I need to try it out on other people to see how theirs turn out, to see what that looks like.
Definitely try your
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get everybody in your family.
I should get my son and see what he looked.
Yeah. All right. One other thing I wanted to talk about on this was the comparison of the two different phones. Now, I haven't had the S9.
Hmm.
I haven't held on to it. You probably haven't held on to the S9 Plus. But does yours feel overly like heavy?
Complete opposite. This is really light compared to probably the S9. Now you've got to play with the S8 and S8 Plus, so this is very comparable as far as um, how it holds in your hand, the shape, almost comparable in weight as well. It's kind of crazy. It's like they didn't go all out on the design this year, which we all knew. They focused more on the camera and more internal specs and whatnot. But um, the 9, like you said, is 5.8-inch screen, but the body itself, since it is the edge-to-edge display, you don't have really that many spaces for your bezels on the top or bottom. So it feels a lot smaller than 5.8 inches. If you're coming from, let's say, an iPhone 8 Plus or 7 Plus, you got the 5.7 inches on those phones, and it just feels real clunky. But here, it feels real good in one hand. Like I said, it's real lightweight to me. Probably one of the lighter phones that I've held.
Okay. The opposite, you're right, because this one feels heavy to me, but it doesn't feel too heavy. It's heavy, but it doesn't fall out of my hand because it's so light. I don't think I'm gonna just accidentally throw it or something because it's so light. I don't like it without a case because that glass is slippery.
It's so slippery and fingerprint magnet. So if you're a stickler for that, definitely got to do something. Either carry a cleaning cloth like I do or put a case on it or something.
And it's got to be because of that glass. I wonder
It has to be.
I needed to figure out if they put the same type of coating on the back that they put on the front. The polyoliphic.
Yes. Not sure about that, but
I need to figure that one out.
Yeah, it feels similar, but not sure. But now I also got to add, it feels like that to me because I'm coming as my daily driver is the Note 8. So you're coming from this gigantic phone to this. I mean, you're holding the two up and
so do you think the Note 8 would be considered a heavy phone?
The Note 8 itself compared to other Notes, not so much. But if you were to compare it with what today's top of the line phones are, then I would probably put it in that category as a heavy phone.
I'd agree with that one too. And I'm coming from a Pixel 2, and I like that size. So I think that I got an iPhone 10 right now that I'm using for work, believe it or not, and it feels the same weight as far as how heavy it is as that does.
Yeah, and as far as the actual size of the body, the S9 I say would be more comparable to what the iPhone 10 is, but I have to actually hold the two in my hand to see, comparison wise as far as the S9 goes. But I'd probably say the S9 is probably a good bit lighter than the iPhone 10, and then also, of course, the S9 Plus.
Yep. All right. So overall, you've only had it for a couple of days. I do realize that, but final impressions on recommendations for who should get it and who should not worry about upgrading.
Right. So I have thought about this. If you're coming from, let's say, last year's model, the S8, the S8 Plus, somewhere, even the Note 8, I'd say probably don't upgrade just yet, unless you're just really digging the virtual emojis. I mean, that's probably about it. As far as camera goes, you do have a lot of improvements with the S9 over the S8, but probably not as much to really make the jump and do an upgrade. If you're coming from an S7 or below, or even an iPhone 7, or if you're on an 8 and thinking about coming to Android, definitely pick up the S9 because it is hands down, I'd say probably the top phone on the market right now.
Would you choose it over, say, the Pixel 2 XL?
Personally, yes, I would. But that's just me. My experience. Love stock Android. Love the experience of having that stock Android feel on on my device. But it's just something about Samsung and the way that they. Now I know their UI that they use is not everybody's cup of tea, but when it comes to specs, when it comes to the camera, you're getting, in my opinion, on the S9 a better camera than the Pixel 2, which has been arguably probably the top camera in the market for the past year. Um, Things like that. When you're a person who likes to take pictures or even audio, love listening to music on my phone. The stereo speakers on these things are really good. Probably some of the best that I've seen since HTC has put out. So definitely, I'd put it over the Pixel.
All right. Well, I would agree with you on the recommendation part of that. S8, stick with the S8. Note 8, stick with the Note 8. Unless you just got money to. Oh, we didn't talk about price. Unless you just got money to burn in your pocket,
Mm-hmm.
I would just stick with the S8 version. If you buy it from Samsung, it's $840 for the S9 Plus. But if you buy it from a carrier, it's much more. Verizon is listed at $930. That's almost
It is.
$100 more.
It is, but you think about all the rebate offers that they're giving you right now. On top of that, it kind of evens out at the end, I guess. I mean, you're probably saving more if you're doing a trade-in with the carrier,
Mm-hmm.
but that $100, yeah, that's a different topic on its own. As far as the carriers being able to do that.
And then the S9 from Samsung directly is $720, but I did not know what Verizon is charging for the S9 right now.
Yeah, we'll have to
I was gonna
look
look that
that
up
up.
real quick. And then I know that AT&T and Sprint have both also raised the price,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like $799 is the Verizon price.
Yeah,
So
so
that's about $80 difference.
a little less than 100. So yeah, it's to be expected nowadays. But like I said, that's a different topic on its own. So, and I think it's the pricing on it. It's perfect. I mean, Samsung, its biggest competitor right now is Apple, of course. So the top phone for Apple's the iPhone 10, $1,000 for that phone. Samsung says we'll put our top of the line phone out for 800 some dollars, and you know,
It was
there you go.
definitely a well played card.
Definitely.
Definitely. All right. So S9, S9 Plus. We will have a review on the Android Anthem within the next 2 weeks, as we're gonna finish our footage on that and our write-ups. But the phone is available tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, sir. Launch day.
Tomorrow. So get ready to spend your money if you're ready to upgrade. Let's jump gears for just a little bit. There's some news that came out today that was interesting to me. Did you hear that Android Wear is being rebranded to Wear OS?
Wear OS, yeah, I did hear that. But go ahead and let's talk about that a little bit more.
So it's just a rebranding at this point in time. I'm sure there's more information to come in the near future, or they may wait until Google I/O, which is in May.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wear OS is hopefully going to be what I would have been calling or waiting on Android Wear 3.0.
Yes.
Because 2.0 is the current version, and it's been, I think, yeah, it's been 2 years since 2.0 was announced, because that was in Google I/O 2 years ago, and I thought they were done with it. Personally, I sport the Moto 360 second gen,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have it on the list. I'm not surprised, honestly. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year-old watch. And but the watches that were on the list, LG style, the one that Google made with LG is on the list. Huawei's Huawei's Watch 2, and then you got Fossil watches. Those are all on the list. All the others on the list are from like Kate Spade, Tag Heuer, all those big name expensive ones. So what do you think?
It'd be interesting to see what they dish out. Like you said, with I/O coming up, I'd be interested to see the improvements that they would make between 2.0 and 3.0. I mean, like you said, it seemed like that it was just going to be 2.0 and that's it. We wouldn't hear anything else about it. Of course, you know, I'm a watch user myself, right there here sporting the Asus ZenWatch 3, but I've got other ones that I do wear on occasion. So, yeah, seeing what improvements are going to be coming with the rebrand. I would like to see a little bit more as far as, you know, as far as how they're going to integrate Google Pay with it, if it's going to come that way with newer watches that are coming out. And yeah, I'll just have to wait and see.
There was one watch, and it might have been an Asus watch that had NFC in it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you recall if that was actually usable? Because I can't help but remember that it had NFC, but it didn't support mobile payment.
Right, and that was the thing. The only Android watch, which is it's not actually an Android watch, it's just the Android brand, Samsung. Their Galaxy Wears, you know, the Gears and whatnot. Those do support the NFC, but like I said, those are Tizen OS. That's not Android. So
yeah,
that's the thing.
So I think that I would be wasting my time, holding my breath, waiting for my beautiful
I would say so.
Gen 360. God, this has been my baby as far as Android watches are.
It's 2018. Time to upgrade.
I know. Battery life.
Yeah, you can't beat it, man.
Notch life. Who would have thought that Motorola would have had the first notch? And here is everybody else saying, notch this, notch that.
Speaking of 2018, that seems to be the trend. I saw a LG, their new phone that they're going to be putting out, is also going to have a notch on it. Seems like that's the going trend now with all phones.
Yeah, I noticed that. Lots at Mobile World Congress were introduced with the notch, if you will, the bar across the top, breaking up the notification bar. And there's been the arguments that they're copying Apple, and then there's been the other side of the coin where Android enthusiasts are saying, no, Essential did it first with their front-facing camera. They had the little widow's peak.
Yeah.
To each their own, but in my opinion, I'm thinking what everyone else is doing is nothing what Essential tried to do. It's what Apple is doing.
It's what Apple's doing. All the components, you know, when Apple does it, because they're putting all the components for the camera and then the facial recognition all in that little notch. But it seems like now is, you know, a lot of people are putting it because that's the new gimmick. That's the new thing people are doing. So
absolutely. They could have gotten away with a smaller notch like Essential.
Essential
is nothing more up there.
No. And that little space the Essential notch takes up, it's doable, I guess you can say. So, but overall, I'm just not a fan of the notch phase that's coming on.
And that's what I was going to ask you. I can take it or leave it. I want to get us an Essential phone to look at it on an Android phone. The iPhone 10, it doesn't bother me at all on the iPhone 10. It doesn't get in the way of the usage, but of course, every app that they have built in with the phone has the notch API built into it. I wish I could hold on to a Essential phone or something that had it on the Android side. I'm not going to install the new developer preview of Android P on my Pixel 2 because I don't want to take my daily driver and put it on beta software.
On a beta software. I don't blame you there. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. As far as the iPhone 10 goes, how was that as far as the notch getting away for, let's say, if you're watching a video or something? How do they take care of that?
Have I watched a video on the iPhone 10 sideways?
I'm not sure is a work phone, so let's not get in trouble.
Yeah. No, I will test that out because I really don't believe I have actually turned the video sideways and taken a look at it. I'll check it out. I'll let you know. I'll report back later on that one.
Well, there you go. I mean, there again, it's an iPhone though, so not really my thing. But the way that LG is tackling it, I think is, or supposedly going to be tackling it, I think is interesting. Where they'll have the notch and kind of like the iPhone 10 has, where they'll just guys the notification bar to go across to kind of hide the notch. But there again, you're taking up screen real estate at that point. So
I think I did see it on the LG leaks, if you will, that the notifications in one corner and the clock in the other corner were on a black background to kind of mask the fact that there was even a notch there. Did I see that right?
Yeah, that's all the same renders. So
that being there, all it really does is reduce the amount of room notifications have, but doesn't take away any room that a video would have. But the purpose of the video never, it stopped or it took away the notifications anyway. Like I'm pretty sure on like the Samsung that I have here, I'm pretty sure that it made the notification stuff go away anyway. No, it just put up black bars because it's an 18 by 9.5 ratio. 18.5 by 9 ratio. So no, it didn't do that. It's still black because of the fact that the aspect ratio is so wide. So, but they're all going there.
Yeah.
All right.
Might as well get used to it.
Let me ask you a question. Are you a cord cutter or do you have cable?
I am a cord cutter, believe it or not. So
what do you use?
Well, currently, besides if we're just talking in general cord cutting, of course we have the Netflix, we have the Hulu, we have all the video streaming services. As far as cable goes, I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble or not. YouTube TV, and which isn't available in our area yet, but somehow it detected that I was in an area that did offer it, and I've been rocking it since. And I've got to say, I've tried out all of them: Sling TV, Hulu TV, PlayStation View. YouTube TV has the best, probably I'd say, refresh. You know, you don't have as much buffer as you do with some of the other ones. The video quality is perfect. The package that they offer as far as channels go, it's a little slim, but you know, you get your local channels, you get your the main channels, sports, which I'm big into sports, so I get all the ESPNs, Foxes, Fox Sports, SEC Network, and things of that nature. So I've been very pleased with it.
You went right in the same direction I was leading you into.
Nice segue. Let's talk about that.
Well,
I think I know where you're going.
I've been trying to get the YouTube TV, but in my area it's not available. I even went up to Atlanta where it is available and tried to connect to it while I was up there, and it didn't get tricked. Because when I
don't know how it happened for me. It just happened, and I was like, I don't mind if I do. So let's try it.
Yeah, I wish it would just happen here too, because I would try it. So it went up in price here recently. Yes. You probably $40. You probably are grandfathered in per se. Because you started, what, at $35?
$35 was the initial the fee. They just changed it to $40, like you said. But if you got in before, I don't remember the date, March 6th or something like that, you would, like you said, grandfathered into the $35.
Do you know what channels they added to increase that price?
I want to say it was the Turner channels.
I think you're right. That's like TBS.
Yeah. TBS, TNT, True TV. I think those are the main ones.
There you go. All right, so I'm paying a bundle package for cable. I'm not a cord cutter. And
come on, man, you gotta jump on this train.
Dude, I did the math. I couldn't cut the cord and save the money while I still paid for the things I needed to watch the shows I wanted to watch.
That's probably it. The shows that you want, and that's how it gets tricky, is these companies know, let's offer them in packages. So, you know, the channels, you know, more people would want to watch, let's offer this in the higher end package, and, you know, to try to entice you to come over and pay that extra dollar. And it may not work for some people if that's what you're looking into. But
yep. So number one thing I had to have, Survivor.
Oh.
And I wasn't going to pay CBS All Access fees just
to watch Survivor. Has CBS called you yet about it? Are you casting next season?
Hey, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not allowed to tell those.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I will say I have been in touch with one or two casting agents, though.
Really?
So
stay tuned.
All right. So we already, you know, on the we already talked about the notch. that was on the rundown. We jumped ahead, but that's okay because I think the Notch honestly can it. It depends on how well they play it, but all in all, I want to know: do you have? I wanted to introduce this real quick. The Lifey Eye. Look at there. It's not in the box. I must have it on my other phone. The Lifey Eye 200 360-degree camera.
Okay.
Friends, let's stay away from this one, okay? I'm going to do a little write-up, not a very big one, but let's just stay away from this one. You can find a better 360-degree camera for the money that you're going to spend.
Right.
I only mention it now because I just thought it was an opportunity to rag on them just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
They developed this camera with a USB Type-C port on it, and then they told me that it will only work with either the Samsung Galaxy S7 or last year's Google Pixel. And I didn't have either one of those phones. And so they sent me a Galaxy S7.
Really?
And there's an adapter in the box because the S7 has a micro USB port.
Yes.
There's an adapter in the box, but it's about an inch high. And I just believe that my feedback on this particular product is going to be it's not good enough to spend your money on yet, but it has potential. You can look at my YouTube channel where I did a test video of my nephew playing a soccer game. And then you can scroll back through some history and you'll see some test video where I had a different 360-degree camera called an Insta360. Huge difference between the two. And the Insta360 was last year, and they've had a whole nother year to improve, and it's so much better. And it's only like $120 on Amazon. That one I would definitely recommend of the two I've personally tested. But I do like the 360-degree concept of video footage. It's pretty cool.
I can see that taking off. Not yet.
No. All right, I'll let you borrow the Lifey i200 if you're gonna go on vacation.
I am actually next weekend, so.
Okay, so I'll let you borrow that. You need to take some footage of the beach trip or wherever it is you're going.
Mountains.
And, we'll
that'd
see.
Be good.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. All right.
Definitely.
Well, Steven, I think that pretty much just about wraps it up for the things we needed to cover today.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for bringing your S9 on the show.
Definitely.
And letting us meet her and showing her off to everybody.
Yes, she is. Yes.
And
she's a beaut.
Yeah. So I appreciate you helping us out at the Android Anthem as well.
Definitely.
Next time, I hope we are able to get Matt back on the show and we can all three just throw down at whatever is going on then. So
sounds like fun.
All right, guys. Y'all take it easy. Have a good night.
See y'all.